Hey everyone, welcome back to The Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're tuning in today because, well, we aren't just looking at dry data or history here. We are essentially going through a student orientation for reality itself. Have you ever actually wondered what the mechanical structure of life and death looks like? Not as a metaphor, not as some rigid dogma, but as a literal functional system? Well, today we're exploring this breathtaking framework that maps out exactly what happens when we graduate from this physical life. It's a totally fresh, incredibly grounded look at the actual physics of the soul.
Okay, let's just dive right into the curriculum. First, we'll touch on entering Spirit University, then the postmortem audit. But really, we're going to focus heavily today on parts 3 and 4, the mechanics of evil, and finally, the vibrational shield.
So, if you're anything like the skeptical 20-somethings I talk to all the time, you probably just want to cut right to the chase. You're asking the ultimate question: what actually happens at the exact moment of physical death? When that shimmering lifeline that's pulsed since your very first breath, what ancient traditions call the silver crystal cord, finally severs? What is the next immediate experience? Do we just vanish? Float up into some clouds?
Well, that brings us to Section 1, Entering Spirit University.
Forget the cartoon clouds and harps. You don't just drift off into some random afterlife. You actually wake up in a highly organized, highly dynamic global campus. The afterlife is simply a vibrational shift. It's all organized by frequency bands. The second you cross over, you drop the physical constraints of the human brain, and boom, your full intelligence and memory instantly click online. You're greeted by your manifestation team, communicating seamlessly through pure telepathy. No lies, no misunderstandings, just immediate crystal clarity.
Which leads right into Section 2, the post-mortem audits. Now, this totally reframes the old, scary idea of judgment. This is a mechanical audit of the ledger. Think of it less like a courtroom and more like a pure, objective, full system scan of your soul's data. You instantly and physically feel how your words and choices impacted every single person you ever interacted with. You feel the harm, you feel the help. It's raw, unfiltered data showing the energetic weight you built up over a lifetime. From that data, 3 choices open up, and they are dictated purely by the specific gravity of your soul's ledger. 1, the choice of service, where you stay in higher octaves to guide souls still on Earth. 2, the option of ascent, using your accrued high-frequency energy to move closer to the center of the universe for advanced training. Or 3, the necessity of return. If your ledger is heavy with unresolved grudges, you literally lack the lift to stay up there, so you choose to reincarnate to balance those books. This brings us to such a beautiful concept from the source material. Your final years on Earth, they aren't about packing boxes. You're packing frequency. To achieve escape velocity and bypass those heavier zones, you gotta pack light. You need to clear out those grudges and turn heavy emotional baggage into wisdom, or gravity is just going to pull you right back down.
All right, now we are getting to the absolute core of today's explainer. Section 3, the mechanics of evil.
So if reality is so beautifully, perfectly mathematical, we have to address the elephant in the room. Why is the world such a mess? Well, this framework defines evil cleanly, purely as a matter of physics. There are no horror movie tropes here, no cartoon monsters hiding under the bed. It introduces this concept called the Dark Blob. I want you to think of this simply as a mechanical gravity well. Every single hateful thought, every revenge fantasy, every act of cruelty emits a very low, very dense frequency. And because energy doesn't just vanish into thin air, those specific frequencies have to gather somewhere. The Dark Blob acts as a cosmic dumping ground. It just soaks up the universe's unresolved emotional waste. It is entirely neutral. Picture it as heavy, abstract, geometric pollution. It's not some conscious entity with feelings or malice. Actually, it's just a blind, mechanical, structural system of accumulated negative energy. It literally operates exactly like a vacuum cleaner. The source material perfectly describes the Dark Blob as pollution with a magnetic field. And because it's magnetic, it operates just like gravity. It only spreads by provoking our reactions. Let's put this into everyday terms for a second. Think about getting caught up in toxic workplace gossip or endlessly doom-scrolling through digital outrage online. When you stew in that resentment, when you feed into those angry impulses, you are actively generating the exact frequency that feeds this magnetic field. It doesn't hate you, it just operates the way fire burns and gravity pulls. It's a literal environmental hazard of the cosmos, a mechanical force of nature that just does what it's built to do whenever you interact with it. Which brings us to the most crucial, actionable part of this whole explainer, Section 4, the Vibrational Shield. Because we live in a universe with this cosmic pollution, we absolutely need to know how to protect ourselves. And the good news? You are not defenseless, not even close. By using your Christic conscience, which is your highest inner awareness, you can project a literal physical frequency shield around your energy field. And maintaining the shield is incredibly grounded work. You deliberately choose harmony over drama. You practice gratitude, especially under intense real-world pressure. Like, imagine navigating a brutal career market or dealing with really complex, draining relationships. Finding gratitude in those moments acts as structural armor. You flat out refuse to let anger and fear run your operating system. And crucially, you audit your inner individual shadow. You have to look for those subtle, sneaky places where you secretly kind of enjoy holding a grudge, or maybe playing the martyr, and you dissolve them. This shield doesn't isolate you from the world, it empowers you. It filters out the toxic steam of the dark blobs. You can walk right into a chaotic room and actually help without becoming infected yourself. The ultimate key to maintaining this shield is completely 100% rejecting the victim frequency. When you ask, why is this happening to me? You buy into the illusion of powerlessness. You literally open a door for that magnetic pollution to latch onto your energy. But when you shift to vibrational authority, the entire physics of the situation changes. You start asking, okay, what strength is this waking up in me? You begin seeing every challenge, every annoyance, every major heartbreak as sacred friction. Think of sacred friction as a gym for your soul. It's a training weight perfectly designed to build your spiritual muscle. When you shift your paradigm to see challenges as resistance training rather than some kind of cosmic punishment, you immediately starve the dark blob. And in doing so, you reclaim absolute authority over your own energy ledger. Which leaves us with one final, incredibly provocative question to consider today. Now that you know the physics of your own soul, the reality of the ledger, and the mechanics of the energy around you, what's your next move? Will you let entropy and drama collapse your shield, or will you take authority, use every single challenge as sacred friction, and pack the frequency you need to graduate? The choice and the math is entirely yours. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Focus learners, keep studying, and whatever you do, keep your shields up.